Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to unpack the latest in the mining industry. Hi, Martin.
Hi, Sashni.
Now, to kick off, over 14,000 South Africans own shares in Orion Minerals, which is good support for local minerals exploration. Can you just tell us about that?
You know, South Africa needs to get small investors involved. They call them retail investors. They're not the big institutions. They're not the pension funds. But you can see that if you really work at it, you can get these people to actually back you, as Orion Minerals has done. It has got good assets. People have seen that. They are no longer brokers. We used to have stockbrokers. You know, you'd have your stockbroker phoning you and say, look, here's a good opportunity. There's a company that you can go into, and why don't you buy a parcel of shares? We don't have that anymore. You've got wealth managers now because the legislation has changed and the whole emphasis is on big investing. And of course, you need the big investors. But what is happening is that those big fund managers have, through government help and the treasury help, actually got all the savings virtually in South Africa. So they've got 90% of the savings. They've encouraged the legislation to favor them so that they're sitting with 9 trillion rand to invest in people's pension funds and provident funds. But they, by their regulations, are not allowed to invest in these smaller companies. They've got to have companies that are multi-billion companies, big ones, and then they're encouraged to invest in there. But what is happening is that the smaller investor, because he's put all his money with the fund managers, he's got nothing left to invest in the stock exchange. We need exploration to take off. This is high risk. These big institutions are barred really from investing. So you then got to look for the retail investors, but the retail investors haven't got that much money left because all of it's gone to the big guys. So we need a change of legislation, because you will see in other countries that encourage exploration. You see Canada and Australia, even their fund managers will be prepared to take a fraction of a percent of their funds and put it into exploration. This is a different type of investment. You know, it's not the guaranteed 10% or 12% return. You can either get zero or you can get many hundreds of percent. And this is what, in Canada and Australia, this is what these fund managers work on. And so they are prepared to invest in a company like Orion. And you'll find that there's a pension fund from Australia that is invested in Australia in Orion. They take in the right amount of money. They've got the analysts watching. We haven't got that in South Africa. We've lost it. And unless we bring it back, our mining industry will die.
Martin, tell us how a mine achieved a massive earnings boost following the employment of 4 more people and guided by a value driver tree study.
This is another attitude that we've got to change in South Africa, the way we budget. And the South African Institute of Mining and Metallurgy proved that a general manager had lost billions and billions of earnings through refusing to employ 4 people. So, you know, you've got many types of things that are happening in mine. You know, you've got blasting and you've got drilling and you've got hauling. And what the South African Institute of Mining and Metallurgy did is they examined each one of those activities in detail to find out where the constraints are, if there are any constraints. They found that there was a constraint in hauling, that although they had spent millions on servicing the vehicles, the trucks, these trucks at certain times were standing idle because there were no operators. So when they went to the human resources, they said to them, look, these things are standing idle. Maybe you can help here. They said, no, it's these miners. They're failing to meet their tonnage. That's our problem. That wasn't the problem. They needed 4 extra drivers. And with 4 extra drivers, they moved the EBITDA, as you call it, the earnings. They moved it from $600 million to $1.1 billion. I'm talking about dollars. And all it cost them was 150,000 Rand a month extra for 4 drivers. So this is when you've got to see that mining is a tricky business. Murphy is in the operations. You need to really examine each workstation, and the budgeters, the finance people, they need to have this information in front of them so that they do not cut these budgets, because when they cut the budget like this so stupidly, they are destroying value left, right and center, and they're not giving people jobs. So it's just absolutely ludicrous, what was discovered by the South African Institute of Mining and Metallurgy, which is the real think tank of the way we do things in South Africa. So I think they must take this type of what they call a value tree. You work on the value driver tree technology, and you examine each activity. It's not even fourth industrial revolution stuff. It's way before that. And you make sure you do not destroy value and at the same time destroy job opportunities. So hopefully the message will be through.
Lastly, Martin, can you unpack for us Anglo American's focus on future enabling metals and minerals?
Yes, Anglo American CEO Mark Cutifani made it clear this week that his company is now focused on future enabling decarbonization, metals and minerals. And you can see that, their latest entry into the Woodsmith project in Northshire, England, this high-grade polyhylite deposit is actually taking them right into the whole new era, of the fast-growing population and how you deal with that and how you assist with fertilization. That is probably the latest example of the way Anglo American is heading. But of course, they've got the platinum group metals, and they've got copper, and they've got nickel, they've got manganese. And what they're saying now is that, these are the metals that are going to help the world to fight climate change. And when you mine these metals, you must do it in the most benign way so that you don't yourself hurt the environment. But once you've got these are the ones that are future enabling. These are the ones that make humanity live better. And so they have now shed their coal. They're moving forward with these future enabling decarbonization metals. And of course, also minerals, when we see what they're doing with polyhalite at the project in North Hampshire in the UK.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.